What is up, guys? DRC3 here, back with another My Hero Ultra Impact video, and today we are going to be showcasing the new free-to-play Focus Thunder Danky Kaminari. He is an SR who is actually fairly decent as a free-to-play character, and that makes me really happy. Like, he is better than the pay-to-play SR Kirishima that was featured alongside him on this recent banner. Like, he's actually pretty decent. As for his advanced leveling, I do not have that done yet. I haven't done any of it. I don't do my SR characters right away because I, work on my UR characters first, and it takes a lot of advanced leveling items to get them up to the max advanced level after you DX them. So yeah, we'll work on him later, but for right now, it is at 0. As for his ability board, we have him up to ability board 10. We don't have the first skill improvement. And as for the peace route, we do have his peace route and his DX peace route completed all the way. So this character is going to be a little bit interesting to talk about. As we go through, I'll try to explain things to the best of my ability. It's a little bit confusing, but his plus ultra move is called Target Electro. It deals 500% damage to a single opponent with a medium chance of paralyzing the opponent for 2 turns. That is good because that's a status element, and a medium chance of paralyzing can actually be increased if you get the auto skill that increases his chance of paralyzing, so that's not bad either. And then his plus ultra also shortens the character's action skill cooldown time by 1. So shortening action skill cooldown time by 1 is really important, especially when you look at this Thunderbolt action skill that has a cooldown time of 11. This skill deals 550% damage to a single opponent, which is fairly decent for an SR. When character's power is increased, this skill gains piercing shots and increases skill impact by 30%. So we're going to be taking on the double S difficulty All Might on the recent VE Tower stage, and he has increased defense, and so this Kaminari should be able to pierce through his defense and actually make a pretty good impact. And then for his second action skill, it is called Spark. It increases character's plus ultra gauge by 25%, also shortens character's action skill cooldown time by 2 when used in a successfully executed skill chain. This is important because it's a technical hit. Technical hits are good, and also because it shortens that 11 turn cooldown. So it not only shortens the 11 turn cooldown, it also shortens this 4 turn cooldown to 2 turns, meaning in 2 turns you get this action skill back. So even though he has such a long cooldown action skill, the fact that he has one of his action skills that's 2 turns, it makes him viable for VE Tower. And then remember, each time you reduce his action skill cooldown time by 2, so let's say we do the second move, right? It will reduce that 11 turns to 9 turns, and then 2 turns later we'll be able to reduce that 9 turns to 7 turns, but then 2 turns have passed as well, so 7 turns actually go down to 5 turns. And then don't forget his plus ultra shortens action skill cooldown time too. So this 11 turn cooldown is actually getting reduced a lot. It's not as bad as it looks, and I think it's around 5 to 6 turns. I haven't done the exact math to find out, but it's about a 5 to 6 turn cooldown, roughly, depending on the characters you run alongside him. Like if you're running another action skill cooldown time character like the new Fantasy or Raka, for example, it could be even shorter. And then for the first auto skill, that's the Spirit, increases character's action skill impact by 10% when used in a successfully executed skill chain up to 5 times. That's really good because that makes both of his action skills technical hits, and that makes this action skill right here in particular a double technical hit, which is really good for your technical hits. And then his second auto skill, Let's Just Get It Done, increases character's power by 20% when HP is 50% or higher. Once per battle, shortens character's action skill cooldown time by 5 when HP is below 50%, which could very well happen, especially going against this All Might. So that's also very useful. And then down here we have his auto skills. Of course, the third auto skill, I did not get the Paralyze. I redid it like 3 or 4 times. I'll get it eventually, but it costs pieces, right? And so the one I have, once per battle, gives Bullseye to character for 5 turns when character's plus ultra move skill impact is increased. So this character can have both Bullseye and Pierce, which is fairly decent for an SR character to have. And honestly, guys, if I'm giving you my opinion of this free-to-play character, like, you should get him leveled up to 130. He's actually going to be decent in VE Tower. I've already seen some people putting him into use in the upper ranks of VE Tower, so he is very good for a free-to-play character. But don't just take my word for it. Let me show you. Here is the team we're going to be running on the power stage versus All Might on the 3rd floor. We are running Fantasy Uraraka, Bakugo, and Kaminari. We're just going to have technical hits out the butt because Fantasy Uraraka has technical hits. The SR Kaminari obviously has double technical hits on one of his action skills and a technical hit on the other. And then Bakugo, we have a technical hit memory on him. So we're going to have tons of technical hits. The goal here is to show you guys that his action skill cooldown time of 11 is actually not as bad as it looks, and to show you that Pierce is invaluable, especially because there's a couple of EE towers, especially when characters have that high defense. Even though he's type disadvantaged, not disadvantaged, type neutral, sorry. Even though he's type neutral, he's still going to do a ton of damage. All right, so as we get into this, we have 541,000 health on All Might. We, of course, are going to be using Kaminari's Thunderbolt action skill before his other one, the 11-turn cooldown one. That way, the cooldown time gets reduced for him. So we'll go ahead and do it like this. And we do not have a chance to paralyze on this action skill. That's important to note. There is no status element on his action skills, only his plus ultra. So that's a little bit different from other Kaminaris in the game, because other Kaminaris, most of them have a paralyze. 37,000 damage on an action skill from an SR. He did more damage than Purple Bakugo because of his Pierce. That is insane. That is really, really good for an SR character. Like, you can't tell me that is not impressive. I really do think that is very, very good. Okay, now we're going to be using Spark, which is going to shorten his action skill cooldown time by 2. That includes this move, so this cooldown time actually becomes 2, goes from 4 to 2, and the other action skill cooldown time will go down as well. So let's go ahead and do this. And there we go. And All Might raised our plus ultra gauges, but we already had them up, so it doesn't really matter. We're going to use this plus ultra now, which has a medium chance to paralyze. Once again, that chance goes up if you get the special EX auto skill that increases his chance to paralyze, and it's also going to shorten our action skill cooldown time. Let's see how much damage he does. Not a bad animation, honestly. 10,500 is not a ton because that skill doesn't have Pierce, so keep that in mind. 74,000 from Bakugo, of course, because Bakugo is ridiculous. All right, and now if we look right here, you have his action skill back. That 2-turn cooldown is insane because it actually becomes like, what, a 1-turn cooldown with his plus ultra right after it. So that's a 1-turn cooldown action skill. That's a little bit nutty. It's a little bit insane. So even though he has one action skill that's basically just MIA for a little bit, he has another action skill that functionally acts like 2 action skills. Is actually really, really good. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and do these. And once again, this is going to increase his plus ultra gauge and shorten our action skill cooldown time again on his first move. And I know I'm using Bakugo in a backwards order for this. Normally you want to put him at the end of the skill chain, but just for the purpose of showing Kaminari, I don't want him to do too much damage, right? So that's why I'm using him first in the skill chain, even though we have friendly reinforcements on him, if you were wondering why I was doing that. All right, now we're going to use Bakugo's plus ultra, and then we should have all our skill chains back up for the next turn. And it does suck that it takes this many turns to get that action skill back, but it is what it is. Hopefully nobody dies. Don't target Uraraka again. Okay, solid. And now we are on turn 6. So we are about to turn 6 clear All Might, essentially, when we weren't even trying to turn 6 him. You could probably turn 5 him with this Kaminari on your team if you were putting Bakugo at the end of the skill chain, honestly. So, like, this Kaminari, very viable, very good, and you can see he has not gotten hit too hard yet, but we'll see if that lasts throughout this turn. All right, so let's go ahead and do this, and do we use the action skill or do we use the plus ultra? I think we use the action skill because the action skill has Pierce, right? So yeah, we'll use the action skill. I do think we're only gonna have, what was that, 4 plus ultras instead of 5, but it is what it is. If Uraraka hadn't stunned on turn 1, then we would have actually been able to plus ultra turn 2, and we would have all 5 plus ultras. So that stun actually kind of messed us up. How much does he do? 46,000 damage. That's actually insane that he did that much. Oh no, Uraraka died. That was almost a 6-turn clear though. Almost a 6-turn clear with this Kaminari. Like, that is so much damage. That is actually insane. We'll do one more run here just to show off how good he is. 24,000. Like, he is honestly not bad. He is a good free-to-play character, guys. Like, I'm really impressed with this kit. As an SR character, they gave him a very unique, very good kit, in my opinion. All right, so trying this one more time, we're gonna do the action skills in the right order. We're gonna see what type of turn clear we can get if we were trying to use this team somewhat seriously, right? So we're gonna go ahead and use Kaminari's Thunderbolt first, and that is going to, when character's power is increased, which it is increased because we have Adventurer weights on him, the skill gains piercing shot and increases skill impact by 30%, so we'll use that. Then we're gonna go ahead and we're going to not use that because we don't want to stun him yet. We're gonna use Gravity Blow, which increases the plus ultra gauge of all allies by 20% and also increases the critical hit rate of this skill when HP has a certain amount. And then we're gonna use Bakugo's Explosive Speed Turbo, which gives him more crit and plus ultra as well. 34,000, beautiful. And 21,000 from Bakugo. So you can see last time he did what, 16,000 turn one. Now he's doing 21,000 because we actually used his action skills in the correct order. All right, now we're going to use these action skills, or sorry, R plus ultras here. And keep in mind, we are getting a shortened action skill cooldown time of all allies by 1 from Uraraka. And we are also getting an action skill cooldown time of 1 from Kaminari on Kaminari. So he's actually getting 2 action skill cooldown times this turn, which is pretty good. 19,000, 24,000, pretty decent, but we haven't seen him land a paralyzed yet, which kind of sucks. I would have liked to see him land a paralyzed. He did take a hit right there, and he actually, I would say he tanked it fairly well. So overall, not bad on his like innate health and tanking. That's without any advanced leveling. He's not bad at all. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll do this, and then we'll do this, and then we'll do this. Hopefully we can stun him with our Uraraka. That'd be sick. Yep, perfect. Just gives us a little more survivability so we don't have to worry about dying to something dumb earlier on. We'll use Bakugo's plus ultra right here, and then we'll have a full, we should have about a full skill chain, I think, next turn. I think that action skill will come up next turn. It might not though, but we'll see. If not, his plus ultra should come up, and we should still be able to use a 2 skill chain with Bakugo and Uraraka. As long as Uraraka doesn't die. Should preface that. All right, there we go. Okay, yeah, so his plus ultra did come up. Also, his action skill came up as well because, once again, 2 turn cooldown. If I just did a little bit of math in my head and didn't wing it, I would be able to figure that out a little bit easier, but I'm lazy. All right, so let's go ahead and I think we want to reduce action skill cooldown time actually here because that's going to be more useful to us. That way we can use his Pierce. Yeah, next turn. Yeah, we'll do that. And 56,000 from Bakugo, and Uraraka died. No. One bad thing though, no great survivability on this team, but that's all right. We do have our plus ultras back up. So what I would have done here is I would have used Bakugo's plus ultra, and then I would have used this action skill here, and then Uraraka's other action skill, whatever that might have been, or used Bakugo's action skill and then Uraraka's plus ultra, vice versa. However that would have worked out, but yeah. So we'll just pretend that Uraraka didn't die right here. We'll continue on. So 39,000, 22,000, then Bakugo cleans up, right? And ideally, like if I had done a bunch of resets and Uraraka hadn't died, it would have actually been a pretty decent run for this BE tower, being that it was a 6-turn clear. We had 11 skill chain. We were missing status elements, right? Because Kaminari didn't hit his. Uraraka is the only one who hit hers. Bakugo didn't blind, so you could potentially get 5 status elements. Status elements might be a little bit hard with this team, but we did have 5 plus ultra moves. We had 14 technical hits, which is a little bit insane. We had 14 crits, which once again could have been a little higher. But overall, I do think Kaminari has like tons of potential. I think he's going to be actually seen and used quite a bit in BE Tower compared to some other free-to-play characters we have gotten in the past, compared to even pay-to-play characters like the Kirishima, which I will be doing a showcase on that SR Kirishima here soon. So make sure you guys go down there, hit that notification bell, and have notifications turned on so you can see when that video comes out. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please go down there, hit that like button as well, hit that subscribe button if you aren't already subscribed, and leave me some comments about what you think about this Kaminari. I think he is insane personally. I think he's really good for a free-to-play character, but let me know your opinions down in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.